I took some time to look back and create a list of things I wish I knew in 2018, before we got our business to 8 figures. I believe that the ability to look back and learn our lessons is crucial, to figure out what worked, what didn't, and why. Some of these lessons may sound silly. Most of these are common sense, but common sense is not common practice, so let's dive in. Number 1, don't become the bottleneck of your business. This is probably the worst feeling in business, when you can see all of the potentials, all of the projects you would like to pursue, all of the products you would like to launch, but you just don't have the capacity. And I know this feeling because I was the bottleneck of our business for a long time. And I realized this too late. I was already maxed out. I spent most of my time maintaining the business in operations, supply, and so on. The lesson here is that we should be aware of our capacity and time allocation. Because once we start spending most of our time just maintaining the business, we should realize that something is wrong. Because we should not really get maxed out by operations. This means that we should hire sooner rather than later. Or at least make sure that our business is ready for employees, which means that our business should be structured and streamlined, even if we don't plan to hire right now. The aggregation of marginal gains on Amazon is magnified. The aggregation of marginal gains essentially means that minor improvements will lead to a significantly better outcome, because the minor improvements compound. And this effect is magnified on Amazon. We all know this, right? More sales will lead to higher rank, and higher rank will lead to more sales. If we get more sales, we will likely have more reviews, and if we have more reviews, our conversion rate will increase, and that will once again lead to more sales. And the thing is that if we optimize our listings, the effect is not just in the conversion rate. Because when we want to calculate whether it's worth it to invest into our listings, we can't look just at the conversion rate, right? We could say, if we increase our conversion rate by 10% with the same number of sessions and with the same profit per unit, we would make $500 more every single month. But that's not the case, right? Because we can't really estimate the full effect. As I said, if we increase conversion rate, we will get more sales, right? But if we get more sales, we will also improve our rank, which means that we will get once again more sales. So we should not hesitate to invest into our listings, because every single detail matters. Every minor improvement will make a bigger difference than we actually think. Sales should be the beginning, not the end. If you are an active seller, you likely have hundreds, if not thousands of customers every single month. But what about your total number of customers? I look back and we had hundreds of thousands of customers over the years, and it really got me thinking, because we never really paid much attention to it. We always wanted to get the click. We wanted to sell the product. We wanted to make some profit and move on to the next. And it took us a while to realize that we were leaving money on the table, because sales should be the beginning of customers' journey with our brand. Now imagine, even if just a small percentage of your customers would decide to join your email list, your Facebook group, or your Instagram account, you would still build an asset that would compound over time. And once you have that asset, the opportunities to serve your customers would become endless. It would be easier for you to rank your established products. It would be easier for you to launch new products. You could get real feedback from them and product ideas for your brand. So this is definitely something to think about sooner rather than later. Reliable supply chain is crucial. As we all know, being out of stock on Amazon hurts. We are losing profit, we are losing rank, and we are not getting reviews. And probably the worst thing about this is that our competitors are getting all of our sales. They are getting the rank and they are getting the reviews. And the story is that we killed at least 2 of our best sellers by managing our stock poorly. We ran out of stock for 2 months and more with some of these products, and our competitors simply got all of the sales. They got a lot of reviews and they outranked us, and we never got back on track. This is simply a big risk on Amazon, especially if you are launching a new product and you don't estimate the demand well. We also worked with forwarders that were not really responsive and transparent. They had great prices, they had a decent speed of delivery, But we realized that it caused a lot of headaches since we did not get updates, so we didn't really know when our shipment would be delivered. So the lesson here is that supply is a core process and we should treat it as such. And it all starts with our inventory forecasting, with our ability to forecast sales and our inventory levels, the suppliers, forwarders, and even the 3PLs we work with. And to me, reliability matters more than speed and price. Because if they are not reliable, they can be cheap and fast, but it doesn't really matter because it would mess up our inventory forecasting. So it will make it harder to keep the optimal levels of stock, which is essentially the objective of our inventory forecasting. But on the other hand, this can be our competitive advantage. Once we fixed all of these issues and we had a great system in place to manage our stock, we were able to outrank multiple competitors that simply did not manage their stock that well. Because in the long term, if you are able to maintain optimal levels of stock at all times, they will eventually run out of stock, and that's your chance to take over the market. Customer experience is the top priority. And this is not just about the product quality, it's about the full experience. All the way from packaging, unboxing, and using the product to storage and maintenance of the product. Because negative reviews and refunds can kill our ASINs, so we shouldn't give them a single reason to leave a negative review. Because the lesson here that good enough is not good enough. It should really be an ongoing effort to make our products and the overall experience better and better so we can maintain high ratings. We had a few products that struggled simply because of quality. And it wasn't just the quality of the product, it was also the packaging, because sometimes the negative reviews were all about the packaging, that it is hard to get the product out of the packaging. I couldn't believe that something as simple as that could ruin the product. But the problem was that we simply gave them a reason to leave a negative review. And that's an issue. Make changes to improve, not to differentiate. One of the best strategies to stand out is to differentiate your products. But this works only if we truly improve the product, if we improve the customer experience. So we always should be honest with ourselves. Is this differentiation making the customer experience better? Because the objective is to make it better, not different. So stop trying to solve problems that do not exist. We can always make an actual improvement. Let's say to use a sturdier material to solve a recurring defect. Or we can change the positioning of the product, which essentially improves the customer experience, even though the product may be pretty much the same. If there is no existing demand, there will be no sales. So you may have a great idea, and it may be tempting to create something unique, something completely new. So you would become the only seller. But we have to keep in mind that it's fine if there are no sellers, but it is not good if there are no buyers. Because the power of Amazon is in the existing demand. And of course, I made this mistake. As I said, it may sound like a common sense, but it's not usually common practice. So this happened to me. I developed an amazing product. I optimized our listings. Great photos, video, A+ content. We launched the product and we were making 2 to 3 sales per day. And even though we were ranked number 1 for our main keyword, we were still making around 2 sales per day on average, which was essentially a complete waste of time for us. The lesson here is that we as entrepreneurs, we want to create something new, but we should keep in mind that the customers want something better. They don't necessarily want new, they want something better. So even if you have an amazing product, people won't buy it if they don't search for it. Because most of us do not have the capacity to create a demand. And if you do, there is pretty much no reason for you to sell on Amazon. You can create your own store. Competition can be good. So if your product is amazing, competition can actually help you. Because most sellers simply copy the best sellers in their niche. And usually this helps our products to stand out even more because the customers are now able to compare and see which one is the original, which can increase your conversion rates and justify higher price points. And this is exactly what happened to us most of the times. And the mistake was that I was concerned every time a new competitor entered the market. And I was constantly worried that someone will come and copy our listings and copy our products. That we should not be afraid of competitors. We should use their products as a baseline. So if they enter a market and they don't do a better job, that's great for us and it will help our products. And if they do a better job, they essentially give us a reason to innovate. Because if our goal is the best customer experience possible and they will show us how to make it better, they will give us the ideas, we can be grateful that we now know how to make the customer experience better for our customers as well. So now we have a reason to innovate. Failure is part of the process. There are so many moving pieces. And the thing is that we can truly control just a few. And if the business gets bigger and bigger, there are simply more and more moving pieces. And I always like to think about this as a hockey player taking shots on goal. It doesn't necessarily mean that he is a failure if he doesn't score. It's simply part of the game to take your shots and hope for the best. Because I always assumed that if I do everything correctly, it simply cannot go wrong. So I took every failure personally. And obviously, as the business got bigger, I was more frustrated. Because as your business gets bigger, you will fail more often. Just a simple example, if you launch 2 products per year, you can fail only twice. But if you launch 12 products per year, well, you will probably fail more times. Things will go wrong. Your products will fail, your shipments will get delayed, and so on. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you did something wrong. Yes, we always have to look back and figure out what went wrong and why. But the key here is to move on and focus on the next job. And we should also account for the failure in our plans and estimates. This will help us to avoid the frustration. Trust the data, not your subjective opinion. With Amazon, we have access to most of the key metrics. And the best thing about this is that the numbers tell us the truth, no matter what we think. So here's a brief story, and I believe that most Amazon sellers experience this as well. I was working on a new listing for one of our bestsellers, new images, new A+ content, new listing copy. And I was extremely excited to arrange a split test to see how much better it is. And after a few weeks, we got the results. The new listing performed worse. And I simply couldn't believe it, so I arranged the test again. So we waited another few weeks because I simply wanted to keep the one I personally liked more. But it doesn't really matter. What matters are the numbers. We should always trust the data and get emotionally detached. Get emotionally detached from our products, from our listings, and from our business as a whole. Simply keep what works and drop what doesn't. We should optimize like an AI looking for the optimal route, no matter what. And that's it. Those are the 10 lessons. There are definitely more like this, so if you find it helpful, leave a comment below and let me know, so I can make more content like this. I also strongly recommend creating your own database of lessons and insights and update it regularly, year after year. But as we all know, it all starts with product development. So if you want to see the exact method I used to develop multiple Amazon bestsellers, make sure to check out this video. See you next week. Bye.